President Xi spoke to his counterpart from Ukraine and proposed again peace talks. Did President Zelenskyy mention any preconditions for such peace talks, and did the two discuss these preconditions?
我的问题是，习近平主席在和乌克兰总统泽连斯基通话的时候，一直反复提到了劝和促谈。泽连斯基总统是否为这种劝和促谈的努力设置了前提？双方是否就此进行了讨论？
两国元首就乌克兰危机充分交换了意见。
The two heads of state had a full exchange of views on the Ukraine crisis.
习主席呢也重申了中方关于劝和促谈的立场。
President Xi reiterated China's position on facilitating peace talks.
泽连斯基总统的回应呢，我刚才也跟大家做了介绍。
And just now I briefed all of you on President Zelensky's response.
我想呢，通话也表明国际社会呢，对这个中方的劝和促谈的立场，是广泛支持的。
And I think this call also shows that the international community widely supports China's position on facilitating peace talks.
好，谢谢。
谢谢。
Thank you.
下一个问题。
Yes, thank you. I wonder if both leaders have discussed any possible visits of delegations or high-level contacts between the two countries. Thank you.
Could you please repeat your question?
My question is, did Xi Jinping and President Zelenskyy discussed any mutual visits between the two countries, high-level delegations or mutual visits? Thank you.
我的问题是，习近平主席和泽连斯基总统是否提到了高层互访的事情？是否会互派代表团？
我想提供的信息刚才都已经向大家介绍过了。
I have no more information to add.
谢谢。下一个问题。
Thank you. Just wanted to clarify a little bit earlier. I asked about other countries. I think you said that you don't have any details to share about the other countries that the delegation will visit. But my question also is about, have you been in touch with other countries about joining this peace initiative? So that's just a clarification. And also an additional question is, will China support Russia keeping some of its territorial gains? So just those two questions, please. Thank you.
第一个问题，刚刚我问到代表团还会访问哪些国家，您回复说没有更多的细节可以提供。但我想问的是，中方目前是否在和这些国家保持联系，并且共同的，并且是对和平倡议表支持态度呢？我的另外一个问题是，中方是否支持俄罗斯继续保留其既得的领土利益？
感谢你再次提问。关于代表团的问题啊，还是我非常想更多的信息来告诉你，但是就像你所说的，这个在通过外交渠道保持沟通。
On your first question on the delegation, I would like to offer more details, but like I said, we can stay in communication through the diplomatic channel.
关于第二个问题呢，我没有更多可以回答的，还是请你再仔细研究中方的习主席讲的四个共同3点共同思考，还有我们的立场文件。
On your second question, I have no more information to offer. My advice is that you can refer to President Xi Jinping's 4 principles for the joint efforts in 4 areas, the 3 observations on Ukraine and the China's position on the political settlement of the Ukraine crisis. Thank you.
谢谢。
Just sorry, actually, the question was about reaching out to other countries. It's not necessarily talking about the delegation. It's have you reached out to other countries? So sorry, it's a bit confusing, but like part of the question was about the delegation, and you said you can offer more information later, perhaps. But the other part of the question is about have you reached out to other countries about this peace proposal? Have they expressed an interest in joining your efforts?
我的第二个问题是，您是否就中方提供的这样一个和平倡议和其他的国家接触过？这些国家是否表示出了要加入中方倡议的兴趣？
中方的政治解决危机的立场，在习主席同各方的接触中，都在反复的重申。
President Xi has reiterated China's position on the Ukraine crisis on multiple occasions when he met with other state leaders.
也得到了国际社会广泛积极回应。
And this has been enthusiastically responded from the international community.
谢谢。下一个。
Thank you.
中国日报记者啊，先跟于思确认一下，就是咱们特使是李辉大使吗？
对，
对，行，好的。然后有3个专家，一人一个问题。然后首先孙正志老师，就是您如何看待特使外交当前的作用？尤其是马上我们要派代表团出去，尤其是去乌克兰斡旋，您如何看当前这个斡旋的意义以及是实际的选择？第二个问题是给李永全老师的，从俄乌两国目前的情况以及欧盟成员国的情况来看，当前乌克兰危机是否到了劝和促谈更有利的时机？第三个问题给达威老师，您如何评价美西方当前对于乌克兰局势当中对于和谈的态度？您觉得当前和谈的困难和障碍在哪儿？谢谢。
First, I'd like to make it clear with the DDG whether the special envoy is Mr. Li Hui, and the answer is yes. And I have 3 questions for the 3 experts. My first question is addressed to Professor Sun. So what do you think about the role of special envoy diplomacy? And what is the significance of this shuttle diplomacy? My second question is addressed to Professor Li. Now, in terms of the Russia-Ukraine crisis, in terms of the relations between Russia and Ukraine and to all the EU member states, now is the better moment than any others for the 2 countries to conduct peace talks. My third question is addressed to Professor Da, is that what is the attitudes of the US and some other Western countries on promoting peace talks between Russia and Ukraine? What are the major difficulties facing the peace talks?
好，首先请孙所长回答。
好，谢谢提出的问题。我觉得这个在这个时间啊，这个派出特使啊，这个体现了这个中方啊对和平方式啊，通过政治方式啊解决乌克兰危机的这个高度重视。另外呢，我觉得也体现了这个中方啊，这个对这种沟通啊这种的重要性和必要性。我觉得它是这个体现了因为要解决这样一个非常复杂的问题，那么一定要通过各方啊充分的这个表达意见啊，这样的话才能够形成共识。另外一个呢，就是刚才其实这个于司长已经谈到了啊，现在为什么选择这样一个时机？我觉得就是乌克兰这个危机啊，那么走到今天啊1年多的时间啊，应该说这个出现了这种长期化啊外溢化的这种现实威胁啊，所以中方呢也是这个表达了这样一个非常鲜明的一个立场啊。另外呢，确实也回应了国际社会一个关切啊，因为现在越来越多的国家啊，这个希望能够停火止战啊，能够尽快的迎来和平。谢谢。
Thank you for your question. I think there are multiple reasons for China's time of choice to send the special delegation and the special envoy to Ukraine and other countries. The first is that it is an indication of the Chinese efforts to resolve the crisis in a peaceful way and through the political channel. Third, it also speaks to the necessity and importance of communication. To address the problem, which is as complicated as this one we are facing, it requires different parties to compare notes before we can reach common understandings and reach a consensus. Third, just as DDG Yu just said, why now? That's because the Ukraine crisis has dragged on for more than a year. So it is protracted and it has spillover effects. So it is an opportunity for China to make its position clear and also to respond to the concerns of the international community, considering the fact that more and more countries are now calling for the cessation of hostilities and a stop of the crisis.
好，感谢曾所长。下面请李会长回答。
关于劝和促谈的时机，我认为是中国从乌克兰危机发生一开始就没有在俄罗斯和乌克兰双边做选择，它都是我们的友好国家，都是我们的战略伙伴，只是我们从来没有说支持谁还不支持谁。这个乌克兰危机的发生，实际上是亲者痛，仇者快的事情。乌克兰和俄罗斯两个是兄弟民族啊。他们俩的关系不应该走到今天。这个战争拖延一天，就会死更多的人，就会对双方经济发展造成更大的损失，就会对欧洲和欧亚的安全带来更大的威胁。所以，劝和促谈随时都是合适的时机。但是我现在担心的是，乌克兰危机的当事方不仅仅是俄罗斯和乌克兰，就希望其他当事方，因为我们都知道危机的这个真正背景，都能够劝和促谈，因为这个危机的延续，它威胁的不仅是俄乌两家，还包括整个欧洲和欧亚地区的问题。
You mentioned the timing of this visit. I would like to stress that since the outbreak of this crisis, China has never taken its side between Ukraine and Russia. Both Ukraine and Russia are China's good friend and strategic partner, so we show no support to either. And I think that this crisis will only harm those close to the two countries and will only do benefit to those with ulterior motives. Ukraine and Russia are as close as brothers. So I don't think that their relations should be what it is today. I think with another day passing by, there will be more casualties and there will be more economic losses and there will be more security threats to Europe and the Euro-Asian continent. So I think any time is the best time to start the peace talks. But now what I'm worrying is that Russia and Ukraine are not just the sole two parties directly involved in the crisis, and I hope that all parties involved can conspire together to start these peace talks, because, as I said, if this crisis keeps dragging on, then it will do harm to not only the two countries, but Europe and the Euro-Asian continent.
好，感谢李会长。下面请大卫主任回答。
好，谢谢。我想美国和西方国家对于和谈或者说对于整个这个危机的观点，我认为是过于阵营化的啊，就是他把这个把这个危机呢看成两个阵营的对抗。那么如果从这样的一个观点来看呢，从这个危机来看，现在美国和西方国家给我的感觉就是一定要等到一方全胜，一方全败，才能够解决这个问题。而我们认为这是 第一，这是不现实的；第二，这个过程也非常的残酷。另外呢，除了一方全胜、一方全败以外呢，一方全对、一方全错。我们中方认为呢，乌克兰危机是非常复杂的。那么我们中方呢，在里面不愿意选边和站队，所以呢，这就造成了一个问题呢。由于中国的立场呢，跟一些西方国家不一样，中国就我们说被阵营化，因为你跟他不一样，他就认为你站在他的对立面。其实呢，不完全是这样。所以这个问题呢，也可以连接到前面我们彭博社提到的问题：为什么这么长时间？我觉得我个人的理解是，当这个事情被这个乌克兰危机被描述成一种两个阵营的对抗，而且把中国硬塞进了某一个阵营，这就使得我们的沟通变难了。但是中方呢，还是非常努力的在沟通双方。我想，尽管跟乌克兰总统的对话，1年多才能够通话，但是如果我们看西方国家，有哪个国家的领导人跟冲突的双方的领导人都进行了坦诚的、友好的对话？我觉得没有。中方呢，实际上是通过我们的这样的一个公正的立场，在发挥不可或缺的作用，而这是其他很多国家恰恰没有做到的。
From my perspective, the U.S. and some other Western countries have been excessively bloc-based when they look at the Ukraine crisis. They think that now the crisis is the confrontation between two different blocs. And I think that the US and somewhat other Western countries don't think that it is the right time to solve the crisis unless one side secured the full victory. We don't think this is realistic, and we think it is very cruel. And another point is that US and some other Western countries thinks that only one side is right and the other side is bound to be wrong. But from China's perspective, the Ukraine crisis is a very complex issue. So China has never taken its side or picked its side. Now, the problem is that China's position is different from those held by the Western countries. So they think that China belongs to another bloc, the opposite bloc. This is not true. I think I'd like to refer back to the question raised by my friend from Bloomberg. Why did it take so long? And I think that I don't think that China belongs to any one bloc. And it is the Western countries who think that China belongs to the opposite bloc, which has made communication a lot harder. But nevertheless, China has continued to play its role, or to play its mediating role. And we know that this call didn't happen until now, but I would like to ask, so which Western leader has maintained communication with the leaders of the both parties directly involved in the crisis, that is Ukraine and Russia? I don't think anyone has done this. So I think this call is an indication of China's fair and impartial objective in promoting peace talks. Thank you.
所以我想追问一下这个于司长，您觉得这次这个两国元首通话的时间点和最近这个引起很大争议的中国驻法国大使的这个有关这个前苏联国家主权地位的这番这个风波有没有任何关系？还是说这个完全是一个巧合？
A follow-up question to DDG Yu. Do you think that the timing of this call has anything to do with the remarks made by China's ambassador to France?
如果你是在问这个中方对法国大使的表态，我们已经做过权威的这个表态了，请你再查阅我们网站。
I think we have made our position clear on what we think about the remarks made by our ambassador to France, and I'd like to refer you to our website.
如果你是问中方的立场，那么我也讲得很清楚了，谢谢。劝和促谈的立场，我是指
And if you want to know more about China's position, and I have also made it very clear, which is promoting peace talks. Thank you.
好 ，BBC。
Another question from the BBC. Did Volodymyr Zelenskyy ask China to do anything in regards to its relationship with Russia? So to say anything to Russia, to do anything in relation to Russia? Did he ask for anything at all in that respect?
英国广播公司，我的问题是，在通话中，泽连斯基总统是否要求中国做任何事情来帮助改善乌俄关系？是否要求中国对向俄罗斯传达什么话，或者是要求中国做某些事情来使得双方关系缓和？
就像刚才我介绍的，泽连斯基总统在通话中欢迎中方为恢复和平，通过外交手段解决危机，发挥重要作用。
President Zelenskyy said during the phone call that Ukraine welcomes China's to play a role in restoring peace and solving the crisis through the diplomatic channel.
Thank you.
好，如果大家没有其他问题的话，请说。
Yeah, so just to double check, so the call was made at the initiative of the Ukrainian side, right?
我想确认一下，是否是乌克兰方主动提出通话请求的？
习主席是应约同泽连斯基总统通电话。
President Xi Jinping made the phone call with President Zelenskyy at the latter's request.
Can I just check one other thing too before we finish? I'm just a bit confused in relation to the question from my colleague there. Countries sending a delegation, or definitely only just China sending a delegation?
我想追问一下关于您说的代表团的问题，是多国都会派代表团呢，还是只有中国会派代表团？
如果你是指的这句话，我愿意重申一下，中方将派中国政府欧亚事务特别代表赴乌克兰等国访问，就政治解决乌克兰危机同各方进行深入沟通。
China will send a delegation led by the Special Representative of the Chinese government on Eurasian affairs to Ukraine and other countries to exchange their views in depth on the political settlement of the Ukraine crisis.
中国日报。
向于斯追加一个问题。今年这个月正好也是全球安全倡议，习主席提出满1周年。在当前这个契机下，习主席与泽连斯基总统通话，然后中方决定派代表团接下来去斡旋。就您看，这是不是也是对于全球安全倡议的一个它的实践的又一个生动展现？然后您觉得是不是也掀开了，就是说中国在具体落实全球安全倡议方面又迈出了坚实的一步，是不是进入了一个新的阶段？然后您对于这次接下来斡旋之旅有什么样的期许？
对代表团的期许。对代表团的期许是吗？
对，就是特使团的那个。
好的。From China Daily, this year also marks the one-year anniversary of the Global Security Initiative, and I think that at this special moment, President Xi and President Zelenskyy had a phone call, and China also decided to send a delegation to Ukraine and some other countries. I think this is a manifestation of the Global Security Initiative, and I think this marks the specific application of this initiative, which also marks a step further for China's efforts in bringing the role of GSI into full play. And what expectations do you have for the upcoming visit made by the delegation?
虽然你是中国的媒体啊，我还是要表扬你这个问题提的还是很有水平的。
That's a very good question, I think.
确实如你所讲， 全球安全倡议呢是习主席提出的重要倡议，正是为了解决当前全球在安全领域面临的问题所提出的。
The Global Security Initiative was initiated by President Xi Jinping to solve all the problems facing the global security situation.
那么中方在乌克兰问题上的客观公正立场，也是与这个全球安全倡议是一脉相承的。
And China's objective and impartial position on the Ukraine issue is in line with the Global Security Initiative.
中方派团去乌克兰等国，正是为了进一步同各方沟通，来阐述中方的全核促谈的立场。
The reason why China has decided to send a delegation to Ukraine and some other countries is to further our communication and brief the relevant countries on China's position in terms of promoting peace talks.
我们也相信，只要各方都为政治解决做出建设性努力，和平的前景就会更近。
I believe that as long as all parties makes a constructive role in promoting peace talks, then I think that peace will be nearer and nearer.
Thank you.
大家还有
Sorry. Thank you for your patience. I just wanted to clarify one point. I know the name Li Hui came up in the course of the conversation, but did you actually confirm that that is the person who will head the delegation?
我想确认一个问题，您刚刚提到了李辉，但是我想进一步的确认，是否是由他率领代表团？
是的。
Yes.
还有，如果大家没有问题的话，那么再次感谢各位记者朋友这么晚了前来参加我们的吹风会。今天的吹风会到此结束，谢谢大家。
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it for today's briefing.